those, lube, dubious DNA, all these things were tossed around like party favors up in the presidential suite of the Riot Hyatt on Sunset. Now, to his credit, McQuarrie looked, but he didn't touch. However, our pal Dylan, a fine actor and writer, was so smashed on tequila that he passed out on a couch. So, obviously, he was ripe for a bachelor party prank. McQuarrie asked the evening's entertainment, Selena Del Rey, how much it would cost for her to take a piss on Dylan's head.
Oh, my Lord.
He peeled off a couple of hundo, and then she leapt onto the couch, straddling from above Dylan's head.
Oh.
Kevin Pollak walked in at that moment for a ringside view. Just as she was about to release a batch of piss onto poor Dylan's head lolled back and his mouth slacked open.
Oh,
are you getting this? Selena dumped an entire bladder load of porn star piss into Dylan's gaping maw. The room fell silent until Kevin Pollak flicked his cigar and quipped, well, there's one guy who won't be running for public office anytime soon. But now that's how it really went down. And you're in the gray zone.
I'll say.
Where I'll now get back to my Hollywood poker story. So where was I? Director Nick Cassavetes declined to be interviewed for this story, as did many of the luminaries contacted. Toby's Game had been around at least since 2006, dating back to the VIP section of the Viper Room on Sunset, sometime after the 1993 on-site death of River Phoenix and subsequent divestiture by original owner Johnny Depp. Note to self. Johnny Depp's partner in the original Viper Room was disappeared in the desert years ago.
Ooh.
And that is one unsolved Hollywood death that has perplexed me for years. Someone knows. Somebody's got to know where that body is buried, literally. So if you're that someone, and you happen to be listening, hit me up. MarkEbner59@gmail.com anyway. Among those who are rumored to have graced the game on occasion are poker pros Phil Lack, Lane Flack, and Doyle Brunson. Pornographer felon Joe Francis, and Hank Azaria, a multi-character voice on The Simpsons, and now star of that excellent new series, Brockmire. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, probably. One of those streaming services.
I know it's on IFC, someone has to have picked up, because they're on their second season, so the first season has to be streaming somewhere.
Yeah, wherever it is, check it out, Brockmire.
Great show.
Now, a story making the rounds had Azaria showing up for the first time, and here you go, Dr. David, with $5,000 in cash, not realizing they would take a personal check. So, according to the FBI, Brad Ruderman, the CEO of Ruderman Capital Partners and its sister hedge fund operating out of Beverly Hills, was a regular player at the exclusive money game and movable fleece between 2006 and 2009, before the financial meltdown exposed the degree of his fiduciary deceptions. So Ruderman is now probably serving out the remainder of 10 years in a Texas federal prison for multiple counts of wire fraud, investor advisor fraud, and willful failure to file taxes. The whole thing might have been just a missed opportunity for an Entourage episode had not court-appointed bankruptcy trustee Howard Ehrenberg, whose job it was to recover assets for defrauded investors, settled on the novel approach of filing suit in March of that year against 22 defendants who were players in that game, all of whom were conveniently, again, Dr. David, paid by check. Among those named in that lawsuit were McGuire, Toby, that is, $295,000 plus interest. Real estate mogul Bob Safai, $846,000. Private equity billionaire Alex Gores, $445,000. Poker pros David Garden and Lawrence Hahn. Cassavetes was in for $73,800. Welcome back Cotter's Gabe Kaplan, $62,000. Solomon, $23,000. Pacheco, $18,000. C-Note Records honcho Cody Libel, the brother of that guy, graphic novelist Blake Libel, who not too long ago scalped and drained the blood from his girlfriend and baby mama, which will be another story for another time here in the Gray Zone. Las Vegas hotelier Andrew Sasson and Dan Blitz Bilzerian, $100,000. And Blitz Bilzerian, he was the bad boy pitchman for the old Victory Poker website, who actually called McGuire a nit, i.e. a tight-fisted controlling player, and he offered to sit for an interview with me for, get this, $150,000. And when I called him up for Playboy, he actually thought that I or Playboy magazine could part with $150,000 for an interview with him. Side note, if you want to see where the incel shooter crowd hangs out, follow Bilzerian on Instagram for a steady stream of him all bare-chested and sweaty, sporting automatic weapons while surrounded by a bevy of blonde bimbos.
Well, I was going to say, you referred to him as a pitchman earlier. Isn't he the guy who pitched a Playboy model off the roof? I think he was like trying to throw her into the pool or something, but missed and hit the patio.
You got it. That would be Blitz Bilzerian. Yeah.
Did he go to prison for that?
No, I think, they played it off as harmless, fun.
He lives
Somebody
in
died,
Vegas.
right?
No. She just busted her leg.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
I'm sure, there was some sort of settlement, but that's the kind of thing that goes around. It happens, poolside in Las Vegas every day.
Oh, my God.
Some Playboy model breaks a leg. How about all the guys that are fucking killing themselves up in their rooms at the Monte Carlo? Vegas.
I feel like my entire worldview is being just destroyed in this hour. It's amazing. Okay, go ahead.
Vegas, man.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
So already, a number of these players have settled for roughly 45 cents on the dollar. That guy, Safai, $360,000. Garden and Hahn for just over $300,000 apiece, and Solomon and Pacheco for $10,000 and $8,000, respectively. Now, Cassavetes responded with characteristic vigor, telling anyone who would listen he was, quote, not paying them one fucking dime. Even as his attorney, my old pal, you'll hear about frequently here on the Gray Zone, Hollywood drug lawyer Ronald Richards, confirmed they were, in fact, indeed in settlement negotiations. But McGuire did file papers indicating that he would fight the lawsuit, perhaps transferring his hardball table tactics to the courtroom. As an opening gambit, he produced checks to Ruderman for $168,000 in apparent losses, which he claims should cancel at least half of any eventual liability. Make sense? Good. Everyone familiar with the game attests to a staggering amount of money that passes through the pot. The buy-in was reported as anything between $100,000 and $250,000, with blinds starting at $1,000, $2,000. And for those who don't play, in a flop game with shared cards, automatic blind bets in predetermined amounts are placed by the first and second players in place of a traditional ante. Now, legendary player Phil Hellmuth said on television in 2007 that McGuire had cleared $10 million playing poker in Hollywood. Mind-blowing. In a game in which card and pot odds are widely available to anyone, where the field of battle has been reduced to separating the player from his prepared reactions, it turns out the best actor actually has the strategic edge. Add to that the competitive streak necessary to transmute actors into stars, not to mention the mile-wide obsessive streak that channels so many of them into drugs, alcohol, and extreme behavior, and you often wind up with poker-playing machines. Director Rod Lurie, whose unfortunate remake of Straw Dogs opened that September, he recalled that actor James Woods spent every night out at the casinos when they were shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana. Quote, "There was one time at a table where somebody was really drunk and made the crack, quote, 'You're a great actor, but you really don't know how to play poker.' And Jimmy went around the table and explained what the odds were on everyone, told what everyone had in their hand, and proceeded to win the pot, and he was right on everything. It was just like out of rounders." Question, if Woods is such a good gambler, why is he all in for that Ponzi guy, Donald Trump? I just don't know. Lurie goes on. "I used to play with Kevin Pollak, and Kevin is the same way. The thing is that entertainers entertain, and they make you forget that you're in a game. Kevin used to deal poker, and he'd do it as Alan Arkin or Woody Allen. He'd have us laughing, and before you knew it, you were out of money." Cards have always been an idle pleasure of the Hollywood rank and file, where waiting is the one, constant in everyone's job description. Old-timers say that on any given day in the card room of the Friars Club in Beverly Hills, $30,000 would change hands in the many poker, pinochle, and gin rummy games. In fact, it was gin rummy, seemingly the most benign of the three, which led to the biggest scandal in the club's 60-year history when in 1962, you remember this, Carl? A member named Maurice Friedman imported a scam he had perfected at Bugsy Siegel's Flamingo Hotel and elsewhere in Las Vegas. By mounting an optical lens in a peephole into the ceiling and installing a sound man in the narrow crawl space above the action, he could fleece the unsuspecting high rollers below. Now, the scam only came to light 5 years later when one of the conspirators was arrested in a similar operation and then spilled the beans to a friendly FBI agent. West Coast mob figure Johnny Roselli also managed to muscle his way into that operation, for which he served 5 years in prison. Now,